Kylie, y'all, and welcome back to my channel. So, let's get ready for a little bit of salt running through our veins today. I'm gonna be doing number 2 of the products no one asked for. Why do you exist? Why is this a thing? We are gonna have some specific products, like specific, products. And we're also gonna have kind of some overarching theme products. And I just feel like we're gonna have a little fun getting into a little bit of sassy roasting. Cause y'all, some of these things, I don't know. I don't understand why they're here. The first one is going to be a fairly recent one. Well, depending on when this comes out. But the Urban Decay Honey palette. I mean, Urban Decay, I feel like what they did is they were like, okay, we discontinued the original Naked palette. And so they had all of these backstock Naked palettes. They're like, what are we going to do with them? We can't sell them because we've discontinued it, but we have all of this leftover stock because nobody bought it when it went on sale because everybody already had it. So they took those units and they took them outside and they laid them out on a nice, hot, super sunny day and bleached the shiz out of those shades, slapped new packaging on it. Now they're calling it the Honey palette. Like, seriously, that's exactly what they did. They took these neutral shades and they turned the saturation way up. Like, they highlighted the frig out of these things. It doesn't look cute. It looks boring. I feel like the tones, although potentially good for me and some zombie and undead makeup, I feel like the kind of like yellow undertones are just gonna end up making people look jaundice. I just saw this and I was like, I mean, and they could have gone a la ColourPop and been like, honey, yellow and rich browns. If they'd done a juxtaposition of like yellow to rich brown, ooh, I'd have been down for it. I mean, I would have talked trash about them copying ColourPop, but there is basically no originality in the community anymore anyway. But none of us, ever since Naked Heat, no one has been asking for any more Naked palettes. No one is knocking on the Urban Decay headquarters going, you know what we need? We need more Naked palettes. That's just not a thing. That's not happening. Then something else that no one asked for, or maybe, young baby-faced 16 tween something's asked for it. But Kylie Jenner skincare. I mean, I didn't ask for her to launch a makeup line, in the first place. But it's here. It's happened. We have to deal with it. But I mean, skincare. She's already a brand that isn't so much selling formulas as she is selling her name. So you've got that. I know some people stand by her formulas and that's fine. That's all whatever. But then she's like, you know what would be great? You know what would be fantastic to sell to my brainwashed masses? Skincare that I claim will make your skin look like literally like 21-year-old perfect chemical peeled, injected, expensive skincare routine skin. And I know I've trash talked on her skincare line before. It is a hot topic for me. I just like, there is no need for you to release a skincare line. There really isn't. But nobody asked for it. No one was like, what's missing? What's missing is a fantastic placebo effect skincare that's sold by a 21-year-old millionaire or billionaire. Insert lots of money here. That will literally do nothing, but the aesthetic will be everything. Another product that I've talked trash about in either a will I buy it or an anti-haul, but benefits party like a Flockstar. I mean, at this point in the game, basically if Benefit releases something that isn't entirely a cheek palette, we didn't ask for it. Or honestly, basically, Benefit releases anything and we didn't ask for it. But you got this thing, and they're like, okay, we do good on the blush palette. So we got 3 blushes. We're like, okay. And then we're gonna give you like 4 kind of neutrally, kind of pinky tones. But then the exciting tones in the palette, the red and the orange and the whatever that you thought were eyeshadows, are actually gonna be liquid cream lip products. Literally, no one asks for this kind of stuff. When you are a makeup person, or maybe I'm just projecting, 9 times out of 10, I feel like when you've got a palette, you're not whipping it out to be like, oh yeah, here's the lip color of my life. And you're taking a lip brush and you're taking the time to, you know, touch up your lipstick on the go with a palette that's this big. What's the point? What's the point? And then they'll always just slap on, well, it's functional, it's multi-usable because it's got everything in it. It's like, that's great, but mainstream makeup isn't being marketed towards makeup artists anymore. So it doesn't have to be streamlined like that. It's not even streamlined. Just no, Benefit, no, you need to stop. You need to fire the person who's creating all the puns and stop marketing off of gimmicks and just release those highlighters. Okay, this one gets me all kind of ways. I understand how important tools of the trade are. You got sponges, you got brushes, we've got a myriad of ways in which artistic utensils in which to turn the face into the beat. But in my time of said beating, I've learned that, you know, not all brushes are created equal, and not all super expensive brushes are good. Enter the Beauty Blender brush collection. You have the brushes that have the little deep puffer roly thing on the other end. And these brushes are exorbitantly expensive. I mean, Beauty Blender is such a pretentious brand. Like, not from people who buy it. People who buy it are just like, oh look, Beauty Blender sponge. But Beauty Blender itself, they themselves think so highly of their existence. They're all like, well, we're the original sponge. No! The original sponge were those crappy, horrible white wedges that we all stole from our mother's room and we couldn't blend worth a darn. Those were the original sponge. That's the real OG. And they're just like, we're gonna release a foundation and brushes that are gonna be exorbitantly expensive, but they're gonna be the best because they're from Beauty Blender and we're the best in application. I just get all kinds of just frustrated vibes from these. I mean, come on, people. This is definitely something that's no one asked for. No one needs it. No one uses it. I don't hear people loving it. But whenever Lancome comes out with that rose in a box highlighter, it's like a $50, $60 placebo effect fairy fart of glitter on a cheap fabric flower, put in a fancy box, French words on it, and sold to bougie people. I mean, literally, whenever I see this in videos, they're like, oh, I don't use it. It's just beautiful sitting on my vanity, and it takes nice Instagram pictures. Or the people that do use it are like, you kind of dust it around the petals, and it kind of gives you a little something something. I mean, it's an overpriced product that's marketed toward middle-aged rich white women. But they did it once and then everyone came out with like the DIY, do it for like $5 at the dollar store. And then they were like, let's do it again because it was so well received, because people were buying it because it was pretty. I mean, oh my goodness. Okay. The Kat Von D Alchemist Holographic Transformer Mini. When I saw pictures of this, I was like, this is it. She is going to take the Alchemist formula, that little 4-pan palette, and she is going to give us glorious, beautiful holographic singles. When really she came out with one Transformer shade, even though the concept of the original palette is they're all Transformer shades. So this is like even more transformation, so much transformation. It was like this big, and the pan was like the size of a penny, and I'm like, it's little, it's ostentatious, it's annoying, we've already got a whole palette of it. Like if you'd released maybe a couple colors other than just like, oh look, here's this random little of a product. And I honestly feel like that's what she's been doing. Just, I know that product came out like forever ago, but I feel like that's what she's been doing recently. She's just been kind of like, oh look, here's a cream eyeshadow. Oh look, here's a stick eyeliner. Oh look, she's just releasing all of these like random little bips and bobs that don't have any like sense to them, and I'm like, where's the other products? Are we just staying low because nobody likes you anymore? Releasing half-thought products, I feel, isn't gonna help your case any. But I saw that and I was just like, it's gonna be great, it's gonna be wonderful, there's gonna be a couple different colors, it's gonna be a nice normal size highlight. No. And then I feel like one of the pinnacle of the no one asked for this is the Jaclyn Hill Vault collection. Now her first palette with them, I have it, I like it. Every time I pull it out, I'm like, oh wow, this palette is so much better than I give it credit for. 9 times out of 10, I really like the look that I come out with it. And so we have that. And then they were like, you know what? Instead of creating an entirely new product, we need to bank on something we know already sells. So let's put Jaclyn's name on it, let's put Vault on it, and let's curate a bunch of these crappy shades into little palettes and say, ooh, look, here are the leftovers that we're selling to you. Because basically that's what they're doing. They're not selling you specifically curated palettes. They're like, these are the leftovers we didn't use in the normal palette. Let's get some of our money in on this and sell it to them. Does that seem like a nice thing to do? I mean, they're basically just selling you the reject colors. And then the whole like thing with the quality and everything like that is just kind of like the final nail in the coffin. But no one asked for that. People were asking for Jaclyn Cosmetics. They were asking for all kinds of stuff, but they weren't asking for Morphe to collab with Jaclyn again and just re-promote shades that I didn't want to use in the first place. Okay, this is one that's just kind of, I feel, I understand that the market is so oversaturated right now, like really oversaturated. But just because it's oversaturated doesn't mean that we have to keep pushing things out. I mean, if it's oversaturated, take a moment, take a step back, maybe breathe between your releases. One of the things I've noticed is brands taking a setting spray product or some kind of misty product that they have that already exists, and then they're gonna re-promote it smelling like something. And I understand people go crazy for the MAC setting, whatever their fancy famous setting spray is. Fix Plus, I do have a brain. Whenever MAC releases their Fix Plus and like some kind of new scent, people lose their minds. And so I'm sure these brands are just trying to market off of that whole idea. But it's like, you have the product, it already exists, you're gonna make your demographic, your target demographic, even like more limited because you have people who have sensitive skin and you have people who are sensitive to smells. And so you're going to take this product and literally re-promote it on the whole, well, it smells different now. Like, no! Just take the time and energy it took you to do that and maybe release something worthwhile. Okay, here's another one. Maybe I'm salty about this because I'm poor. But, Christian Louboutin, anything? I mean, I understand he is a luxury product. I mean, luxury Chanel, Tom Ford, Dior, Givenchy. They're all luxury products. And as I always say, they are marketed toward middle-aged, rich, white women. I admire his designer aesthetic. His shoes are absolutely beautiful to look at. He has great, like, shoe theory. Reading about his whole process and the design thing, I am down. But you make shoes. And now you're like, okay, well, I'm going to take inspiration from the stiletto and I'm going to make, was it nail polishes that was first? And then we had lipsticks and lip glosses, and they're like $80, $95. No one asked you to take your shoe aesthetic and bring it on over into overpriced makeup that I have watched and reviews of, and it's not all that amazing. I feel like if you're gonna invest in something Christian Louboutin, save up and get a pair of shoes. Yeah, it's more expensive than the makeup, but I think you're gonna have a better experience getting the shoes than you're putting subpar makeup formulas in fancy Louboutin inspired packaging. That's what sells it. The inclusivity of exclusivity, the exclusiveness of being like, oh, I'm rich enough to buy this. Coupled with the super bougie packaging and just on so many levels, this was not something anyone needed. And something else like we asked for, but we didn't necessarily ask for it in this particular way. Kat Von D Mini Metal Matte Palette. That was teased and we were all like, yes, yes, take this formula, take this layout, take this format and give us these cute little color story palettes. We will run with it. And instead, Kat was just like, well, what I'm going to do, because this thing is limited edition, I'm going to take shades that were already in that palette, which are the most user-friendly, the least unique, and I'm going to put them in a little palette and shill you that. But we wanted different colors. Well, too freaking bad. I mean, I would have lived for her to just take that and run with purple, blue, green. I mean, just tell a beautiful color story. But no, we're just going to regurgitate. I mean, I feel like so many of these products are born because they have overstock inventory, so they need to take that and put it in something to sell it and make back their money, but we have to call it something fancy and whatever. Would have liked me a new color story instead of a color story I already owned. Alright, I'm going to stop being salty there, at least on camera, but I live my life by the salt. Definitely let me know what you think about these products that I talked about if you love them. That is fan-tucking-fastic. I am so happy. This is obviously just my opinions, just my whininess going on. And let me know something that you think is a product that just kind of popped out of the blue that you're like, who created you? Why do you exist? Because I love hearing you all's whatevers. But thank you guys so much for watching. I love you. And as always, keep it real. Mwah!